Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. This is a video that will help you out if you had a repossession of your automobile. A lot of people don't know this. This is some information that I've really never shared with people, but I know that there's a lot of people here on YouTube that are not going to be customers of mine, but I still want to help you out with any situation that you might have. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the strategy that we use when going after debt collectors who have repossession debt, and also after the original creditors if the client wants to take it that far. A lot of clients would just say, hey, just get it off my credit reports and have the debt canceled out because that that I don't want to pay for a lawyer to take them to court. Some clients do. They might decide, hey, I want to take it all the way, or they might try to file a suit for the amount that they feel should be owed to them, which would be the deficiency balance, obviously, on the repo, but also they might say, I want some damages, you know. So now a lot of people don't know this, and I've talked about it in past videos, is that a repossession, a repo man slash woman, because I've seen some of the TV shows that had a female repossessing vehicles, they cannot do what's called a breach of peace. Now, this is very vague in the law, but they cannot do this. And as I wrote here, this is on my blog on Credit Repair Shop, is that they, even if you call the police and you try to say, well, I don't want to let them take my car, this is my car, they're illegally repossessing it, even though they got this letter from the creditor saying that they can repossess it. Most police are going to allow them to take the vehicle, but but they are not allowed to do it because of what's called breach of peace. And I'm going to go through some of the things that could be considered breach of peace. But what this is really going to get to, because and I know, I'm not like one of these people who are trying to tell you, hey, you're going to get your car back without paying money, or they're going to just give you your car back. I'm going to be a realist on this. What this is where uh, you know, let's just say the straight line solution on this is that you want the lender to be afraid of potentially getting some type of fine or some type of class action, or losing their a privilege to make loans in your state over them fighting your dispute with them. That's what it basically is going to come down to, is that they're going to say, if we just get rid of the 5, 10, 20,000 that this client owes, we just do it on a cancellation of debt, take it off their credit reports, that person is gone. We continue on with people who don't know their rights about the breach of peace. And so we don't want to get involved with going back and forth, and also hiring a lawyer, getting a lawyer to go to their location. It's going to cost us a lot of money. So this is a strategy that you can use to kind of make them say, hey, maybe we should just forget about this, take it off the credit report, and cancel out the debt. So, and now that we got cell phones, you can record all of this stuff, and you can really build a good case to where when it gets to their legal department, the legal department might advise them, hey, why don't you just, do their demand. So if here we go right here. I'm going to start with some of the things that's considered breach of peace. Unlocking your gate to get on your property. That's trespassing. They cannot do that. Breaking the locks to get into your property. I've seen some of the TV shows where they've actually broke the locks to repossess vehicles, and also there was one on repossession airplanes where they had broke the lock to get in there to do that. Another one was opening up your garage door, which is an extreme no-no, or breaking the locks to get into your garage. Arguing with you when you ask them not to take your car. Yes, that simple uh, request, don't take my car, changes this over into a hostile repossession, and they're not allowed to do that. Now, we all know they're going to take the vehicle. All you're doing is just building up your information so you're able to submit that to the original creditor to get them to say, hey, either, I mean, best case scenario, they give you your car back and they say, hey, we're going to give you, forgive this loan, kind of like what happened with Santander. Or they're just going to say, hey, you owe us, but we see that this was not done properly. We'll just forgive the debt and take it off your credit report. The repo man is screaming at you and calling you a deadbeat or other offensive words. They're not allowed to do that. I know people, think that, hey, it gets heated and people will say things to each other. But these people are businesses, and they have to remain professional. It is against the law for them to call you names, to say all types of stuff. So if you got your cell phone, you just record it because you're going to be using that to send to the original creditor. Next thing is threatening to kill you if you try to get their car off the tow truck or something. Maybe, I saw a video once where the person got back in their car, or they were in their car while they were in the car, and the person pulled it up on the flatbed, and they actually drove the car off the flatbed. Now, what do you think? Is that a breach of peace? Of course it's a breach of peace. And then while you're in your car, they're trying to hook it up to take the car, telling you to get out of the car. Again, breach of peace. Now, I'm just because I know people are thinking about this. You've seen it all over. Maybe it happened to you. Once it happened to me in the past where I just gave the vehicle back, you know, when I was going through my financial issues. I just, hey, come pick it up and take it. So that wasn't a hostile one. That was just where we were like, hey, take the vehicle and we're going to work out something on the settlement on it. But they are not allowed to just hook up your car while you're in it and you know try to force you out of the vehicle to take your car. Any and all encounters that put your safety at risk. So that's why I said it. This is just a list of some that I could think of that are just widely known. But anything that puts your safety at risk, record it because you're going to be able to use that information to send to the original creditor. And then also the repo man or woman isn't allowed to touch you or touch you at all, regardless of the situation. It does not matter if you're touching their equipment, if you're trying to unhook their equipment, whatever. They're not allowed to touch you. So let's get into, and I kind of stated it. Let's get into what you're going to do specifically. Outline a strategy to be able to get the repossession taken off your credit reports and get the debt forgiven. But first, I want to show you the actual law. I'm going to pull this over real quick, just so you know I'm not BSing you. Here it is right here, UCC Commercial Code. You got 9-609 Secured Property Rights to take possession after default. And we have here B, number 2. Without judicial process, this is where they don't have to go to court to repossess it. If it proceeds without breach of peace. So you see, that's the law. So you have your background, your backup, and now let's get into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to, if you have videos, you're going to attach your videos. You're going to have your information. You're going to write out exactly what happened, what you said. Make sure it matches what you got on the video. If you did not get a video, then you need to write out exactly what happened, and you're going to need to get to the legal department for the lender that has your vehicle. And you're going to want to submit that information to their legal department, and you're going to state that the vehicle was taken against your rights. It was a breach of peace, and you can state how you consider it to be a breach of peace. And now what you can do is the next step, which is something that we did with the Santander claims, that Santander lawsuit, which we did this with an attorney working in my area that was able to produce demand letters for individuals that were not included in, that wasn't in one of the states with the Santander lawsuit, but they wanted to seek a remedy based off of the information that Santander stated they broke the law on, or they didn't state that they broke the law, but they stated these were problems and that they were going to fix them, and that allowed it was like the settlement that they agreed to with the government. So, or the attorney generals, which is the government. And so, based off of what you know right now, that with a breach of peace, you state your information of how you believe that they did it, and then you demand a remedy for it. And when you make that demand, the demand is that that you seek to have your remedy, which will be either, if you think you can get your car back, I don't think that that's going to happen, but to have the information removed off your credit reports and to have the debt canceled, which is where it'll just be canceled. They can send a 1099-C to the IRS, where the IRS considers it income to you. You can have that waived later. But you just say, hey, uh, to not have this proceed to go further is going to be expensive for you. I would like to have this remedy, uh, to have my credit cleared, and you cancel the debt. And if you state it and you state the law and you get it to the legal department, if that gets into the right hands, and you might have to do it a few times, but if you get it into the right hands, I'm pretty sure that they're going to respond. Now, let me tell you some ways that you can enhance your letter. Is that you will also notify them that you will give them, let's just say, 30 days to respond to your complaint and slash demand, or you will be forwarding this information to the department that handles, that licenses, that gives the privilege of businesses like yours to be making loans in my particular state. In my state of Wisconsin, it's the Department of Financial Institutions. You have to look that up in your state. And then you're going to also put on there that you're going to notify your state attorney general's office. And you can also throw in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Now, I'm not saying to do this if this did not happen. If you do not have a legitimate breach of, I'm sorry, breach of the peace, then don't try to do that. But if you do have a legitimate breach of the peace, maybe they were calling you, making threats, maybe they were following you around, making you feel unsafe, all of that type of stuff, yes. But if they just, repoed your vehicle, you handed it over to them, it was not a breach of the peace, then this strategy won't work for you. All right. This is going to end the video here. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch my video, What Makes Us Different, so I can show you my 8-point validation process, my two-phase settlement process. If you don't have your credit reports and scores, please go to the website your3scores.com to get your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports and scores. And if your debt was potentially sold, your repo debt was potentially sold to a debt collector, you're going to want to notify them of the breach of peace. And they could potentially just send that debt back to the original creditor to get their money back for whatever they paid for that debt from the auto loan debt that they acquired. And if you have debt collectors coming after you, make sure you grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations letter, cease and desist collection activities letter, and debt validation letter. If you start fast when you get those first debt collection letters, you can stop debt collectors from going after you further. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.